Hey, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to the Grit Podcast with Pete Ciotti. Man, my next guest, this is going to be a fun one. Just a legend in the running community here. He's had quite the decorative running career, let's say, from Ironmans to Western States, also teacher, and just all around great guy. And we met this year, I think it was this year, at the Raccoon Run Club, and we've run together. And he came down to pace me in my 100 miler that got cut short. And we've had some really great conversations. And I'm just really happy to have him on the podcast. Welcome, Tom. Tom
Thanks.
Davies. How you doing?
Good. Thanks, Pete.
Yeah, man.
Fun to be in here.
Good to have you here finally. Yeah, man. Thanks for making the time.
Yeah.
Man, let's unpack it. Let's start from the beginning. When you first started running, like, ultra distance and stuff like that, marathons, ultra distance, when was that? Like,
Ultra distance. That was 2012.
okay.
But I started running in 1979
Yeah.
when I was a young man who had coming out of middle school.
Yeah.
Tried out for the basketball team.
Okay.
Never made the basketball team. I like to run track. All my buddies played basketball and stuff, but picked up a Runner's World magazine. I still remember with Greta Waitz on the cover.
Nice.
All time, she was from Norway, this incredible marathoner.
Yeah.
And just read that thing cover to cover multiple times, and it inspired me just to start running. And
That's awesome.
I ran my first 10-mile race that summer.
Up 79?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then started high school on cross-country team.
Yeah.
And just was this little guy out there and getting made fun of by some of a guy who would later become one of my best friends, who was a good runner. And
Nice.
Just ran all through high school. Had some success in high school at the league level and section level, and went to junior college at Butte College, right outside of I grew up in Paradise, California. And went to Butte, got to stay with my same coach from high school down there.
Okay.
Had some success down there. I set a couple school records, and one's still there. One of them got knocked down last season, which was kind of fun. It had been there for, I don't know, 40 years, something
Do
like that.
they contact you when someone breaks a record like that?
Nobody did, but I was at the jogging shop one day, and Mike, who knows everything about anything about running, and he goes, "Hey, I think one of your records just got taken down at Butte College." And
wow.
So I contacted the coach via email, and I got the kid's number, and
you called him?
Got a hold of him. Yeah, I called him, but he didn't answer.
Oh yeah.
And but we had some text exchange.
That's
and
cool.
Yeah, so there's still one there, but he might get it this summer.
What's the record that you have still standing?
It's a steeplechase record. Okay. I had the 10K in the steeplechase.
Okay,
yeah.
Can you explain a steeplechase?
Steeplechase is a 3,000 meters, so just under 2 miles around the track, and there's 4 barriers and a water barrier.
Oh, okay.
And you have to jump them every lap.
Okay.
And so it's kind of like cross country.
Yeah.
Because that was always my thing. Like in cross country, the harder and muddier and wetter it was, the better I did.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. I won the NorCal junior college meet, when I was at Butte College, and it was just a horrendous day, muddy, raining.
So you were made for running in Humboldt then?
Yeah. That doesn't bother me.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. And so from high school, did you seek out marathons at some point, or what got you to go from the shorter distance to the longer distance?
I stuck with track events. And then in college, I went to Chico State, and the program didn't really fit me at Chico State. It was a one size fits all, and the one size was a very large size for massive mileage and stuff, and my body just wasn't holding up to it.
Okay.
So I tried a marathon, ran really well for about 20 miles, and then just, hit the wall.
Yep.
And then I started doing triathlon, and I went and did a few regional triathlons, and then I qualified for the Ironman, and
wow,
I got my professional card. Didn't make a lot of money in triathlon, but I made a little bit, enough to kind of keep you smiling and just forward. And it paid for some training expenses and things like that.
Wow.
But I did the Ironman, but I always had injury problems. Like as soon as
Yeah.
it came to like a peak event,
Really?
I was always like on the line,
Really? Just from overtraining or?
Yeah, like elite athletes are not that I was elite, but they're always on the razor's edge,
Yeah.
It's like, you step off one side and
So let's
and you're
start there
hurt.
with the Ironman. Did you have a coach that was training you, or just doing your own thing?
No, I was doing my own thing,
Okay.
and I had a kind of my buddy was a really good swimmer,
Okay.
and he was a triathlete as well, and I wasn't a strong swimmer, so
Okay.
in that sense, I had a coach of
Yeah.
swimming,
Right. Just showing you the way.
showing me how to survive the swim and put yourself in a position where you weren't going to be
So
too
this
far
first
back.
Ironman, leading up to his first Ironman, what are we looking at date wise? When was this?
That was 1989.
1989.
Yeah.
So you get your Ironman card or whatever and get registered, and then you train. How long did you train for before the first Ironman?
I did my first 2 seasons. My first season was just trying to figure out the triathlon, and then I had the running background, so that means you've got the cardiovascular for the
Right.
cycling. You got to
Right.
learn how to cycle,
Right.
learn how to swim. My second season, I competed. That's when I was able. Back then you had to finish in the top 10 in a race, and then you got a professional card, and that qualified you to be able to win money. And
Wow.
so I did that a few times, and then I qualified for the I qualified professional and for the Ironman in the same race
Mm-hmm.
down in Lake San Antonio,
Okay.
and did some prep work. I was living in Santa Rosa, working out with a guy named Harold Robinson, who was a national level, world level triathlete. He was a good buddy of Mike Pigg's,
Yeah.
a local guy here,
Yep.
who Mike and I competed against each other in high school and college. And so Mike put me in touch with him.
Yeah.
And I just did that all summer, and I got in a bicycle accident and hurt my hip, and just kind of
Thanks.
limped through the rest of the summer.
Yeah.
I'd already qualified for the Ironman, went over there hoping I could get to the starting line, and couldn't really run the day before, but adrenaline does wonderful things for your body, and I did it.
You completed it?
I completed it, yeah, and not as fast as I wanted to. I
Yeah.
was hoping to go like 9 hours, and once again, that marathon at the 20-mile mark,
Yeah.
I was on 3-hour pace, and then it took me an hour to do the last 10K, and so 9:42 was my time. I was happy. I finished it, and
Okay.
then I kind of dropped out of it because I had a hard time.
Was Ironman different back then in terms of distances and stuff?
No, it's the 2.4 swim,
Okay. Still the same.
112 bike, marathon run.
Oh,
It was a different sport back then, though.
Yeah.
Ironman was a standalone race. It wasn't a corporation that had races
Right.
all over the world.
Yeah.
and-
Now it's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like expensive.
Yeah, I think it was a couple $100 when I did it.
Really?
Yeah, when I did it, it was when it was back in the Dave Scott era, Mark Allen, and I used to swim with Dave in Davis, California sometimes.
That's
and
cool.
I was around some pretty
Yeah.
high level guys, so
Yeah,
it keeps
yeah.
you motivated,
Right, yeah, totally.
And then I got my teaching degree and got a job. Ran just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while I'd jump in a race, but nothing super competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And then my wife got cancer in 2011, and that like open your eyes. Like,
Yeah. Big time.
I'm thinking, I'm going to do something epic.
Really?
I'm going to run a 50 miler.
Yeah.
And I just signed up for a 50-mile race and started running long
Wow.
distance. So back 2012 was my first.
So you were kind of taking care of her and everything, and then just like, I got to go do something crazy. Life is short.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
so I jumped in with both feet. Like triathlon, I jumped in like I want to do that.
Yeah.
And then did the 50 miler, and I'm like, they say I qualified for the lottery at Western States.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw in for that.
Wow.
Which that was the start of
But if that was 2011, 12 era,
mm-hmm.
and it seems like you did the Ironman in late 80s, early 90s, whatever.
Yeah.
the time in between there? Was that just teaching and just kind of
Teaching
running
and
for
just,
fun?
yeah, running for fun.
No major events?
No, no.
So you're kind of coming off of like a pretty substantial gap in terms of, competing or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
20
I would
years.
do your occasional running race, like the Almond Bowl in Chico, or
Yeah.
I did. Well, I skipped when we first moved up here. Um, I was over 40 and hooked up with Mike at the jogging shop, and running has so many little,
Yeah.
connections. And
Yeah.
Mike and I, we look back at our career and he's like, "You were at the regional meet with me and
Oh,
at
yeah.
the NC2As up in Seattle in '87." I'm like,
Oh,
"Oh
wow.
yeah, I was."
Oh,
Humboldt was
wow.
up there, and I
That's
was at
cool.
Chico State, and so we put together. Or he did. He reached out to all these people, Scott Pesh and Mike Pig, and a bunch of other people around here.
Yeah.
We had like an over 40 running group, and we trained together once a week, and we went down to
Oh,
San
cool.
Francisco for the PA-TAC championships or national championships
Uh-huh.
in a cross country for masters.
Yeah.
So I was motivated to like
Yeah. Beat
race in
around
that period.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had these peaks and valleys,
Mhm.
the whole time, where you do some competition and lay off, and then, here's a inspirational moment.
But man, this is your first 50 miler. I mean, had you run any kind of distance like that in the past? I mean,
I'd
besides the
never,
Ironman effort, which is
which is an all day
more
effort.
than comparable.
Yeah.
But I mean, had you ever run like a 50 miler?
No, I'd never run
Not
anything
even
over a marathon.
not even just an adventure or whatever. Yeah. So okay.
26.2. That was my
Wow.
my biggest event.
So this is 2011 that you did the 50 mile, or 2012?
2012.
2012, you go out doing the 50 miler. What was the race?
Mount Hood 50.
Oh yeah, Mount Hood.
So I prepped with a 50K down in Vacaville and was pretty stoked. I finished that, and then I had registered for the 50 miler.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Mount Hood's got to have some vert.
yeah, it did. It was on the Pacific Crest Trail, so it was like a double out and back.
I used to
north
live
for a
there.
while.
So I lived there in 97 and 98. And I camped out right there at the PCT
Timothy Lake was where it ran around.
Totally.
Yeah, beautiful area.
Yeah, that's some vert. So picking a 50 miler like that with some vert, and never had run a 50 mile, that's gotta be a challenge.
I just do it. Send it. Basically.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Just jump in and do it. And so did the 50 miler and just felt an amazing sense of accomplishment, like more than anything that I'd ever felt.
Really?
In any other event. Yeah.
Was it the hardest thing you think?
It was the hardest thing I had done to that point.
Even more than the Ironman?
Harder than the Ironman, because just the same muscle groups, over and over.
Yeah.
Triathlon is, it's hard for an Ironman, but you're using your shoulders and your arms, and then cycling is a little bit of different, it's different muscle groups.
Yeah.
It's our little inside joke with our friend Dylan.
Yeah, right. It's true though.
And and then I don't know, it seemed to me the hardest, like mentally, because it was just that grind of running that whole time.
Let me unpack that with you for a minute. So, because I just finished something similar in my trajectory, doing the 100K was the hardest thing I'd ever done. And, running that much time on feet was insane for me. But like when you finished with that, like you said, you had a big sense of accomplishment. Like, you felt like elated, did that just spring you towards the next thing? Like be like, you take a day to recover and everything, but then you're like looking for the next big thing. And it kind of gets the adrenaline going, and you kind of get like, addicted to the process, if you will. And so is that what started?
Yeah, I'd say that's very accurate. Like still being like, I'm a very competitive person. Like I was but different now. So like competitive against other people back then. So that was, 13 years ago or whatever. And I'm like, I think I could go a little faster. It was always, so let's see if I could, what's the next race I could go in? See if I could finish up a little higher. And still had this like overall completion goal that I wanted to fit as high in the field as I could. But it's hard to do, because it takes a while to recover from these things. So it was a big learning curve for me to figure out. When I figured out that you had to like walk that was a big revelation for me. Like,
Yeah.
this is a running race. What am I doing?
Yeah.
Walking. What are these people doing walking?
Yeah, I always had thought that that's what ultra running was just run, run, run. Like, and when somebody finally told me, actually it's kind of a glorified power hike, and I was like, and they put the word power in there because it's
Yeah.
really like a walk hike.
Yeah, you can't, lollygag.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
realize that some of these ultras, especially the ones I've done lately, has been a lot of walking. That's why I was out there for so long. It's just so
Yeah.
hard. But we want to thank our one and only sponsor, Ciotti Yard Maintenance. That is, of course, my business. If you're looking for lawn care or landscaping, please give us a call, 707-797-9710. And check us out online at CiottiYardMaintenance.com. Appreciate y'all. So, you ran a couple ultras and did some distance after this race, and then you took another break, or what
No,
happened?
so I did the Mount Hood thing, and that kind of hooked me.
Mhm.
And I'm like, all right, so what's the next step?
Yeah,
Western States 100. That was the iconic race.
Right.
And so to get into Western States, you have to run. Back then, you had to run 50 milers, certain ones that they had chosen as deemed the qualifiers.
Right.
So every time you qualified, once a year, you had to at least run that distance. And then the fall, you throw in for the lottery.
Right.
Because there's 369 spots.
Right.
And couple thousand people apply for those 369 spots. So you get in, you get one ticket.
Right.
And then you don't get, I didn't get in. And so the next year I had to run another 50 miler. So I started running Lake Sonoma 50 miler, and I did that one like 3 times.
Okay.
And you'd get your qualifier. And second year you get 2 tickets.
Okay.
Third year you get 4 tickets. So it's exponential, and it starts to,
But you're still not getting in at this
I'm still not getting in.
Yeah.
And then they changed the qualifier from a 50 miler. So you had to do 100K
Right.
or 100 miler.
Right.
And so I couldn't find any 100Ks. And so there's the Pine to Palm up in Oregon.
Yep.
It was a qualifier. So I thought, all right, well, in for a penny, in for a pound.
I mean, is Pine to Palm a qualifier? That's a 100-mile race.
Yeah.
Which Western States is a 100-mile race.
Yeah.
Right? And vert to vert. Is Pine to Palm more vert than Western States?
I think Pine to Palm might be more, but I never remember all those numbers.
Yeah.
It's
just seems like a really hard race just to qualify for another hard race.
Yeah, it was
like
a
crazy.
hard race, and I wanted my first 100 miler to be Western States.
Yeah.
But they pushed my hand when they changed the qualifying thing. So I did that race. I finished under 24 hours, which is like the benchmark, that a lot of people try to shoot for. And I was pretty stoked about that.
You finished Pine to Palm under 24?
Yeah.
That's extremely hard.
Yeah.
That seems extremely hard for me. I think I look at the results of the last Pine to Palm last year, and there wasn't that many under 24-hour qualifiers.
I was the last sub 24 guy that year. I was like 19th place or something like that.
Crazy.
And so I qualified for not Ironman, but Western States again.
Wow. But that Pine to Palm, that was your first 100-mile.
That was my first 100-miler effort.
So let's start. Let's talk about that for a second. Let's unpack that one. So, let's talk about like what kind of like was your strategy going into a race like that. You never run 100 miles before. You'd done 50 milers. Was the strategy? How did you break off that race? And did you digest it in small increments? Like, okay, I'm going to go from aid station to aid station. I want to be here at mile 50. Did you have a pacer at all?
Yeah.
All these things.
Good questions. So I get kind of occupied with how to prepare for these things. And I had a little cue card with me that had all the aid stations written on it.
Nice.
Had all the distances. And then I had plan A, which was sub 24, and the pace that I should hit each one of those aid stations.
Right.
And plan B, which was cutoffs. And so in an ultramarathon, if you don't get to certain places at a certain time, they pull you off the course.
Sweep you.
So I'd never run that far before, especially over that mountainous terrain. So I just did straight pacing. Like, so sub 24 is like 14 minutes and 12 seconds a mile or something like that. So I just laid it out at 14:12, not taking into account any ups and downs, you know.
Right,
So
right,
obviously you're going slower up hills,
yeah, right.
faster down hills.
And what about time and aid stations too? That
And
that adds to it, right?
yeah, and I didn't really factor in sitting at an so that's how inexperienced I
Yeah.
was going into this.
Right, yeah.
And, the first 7 or 8 miles of Pine to Palm was uphill, and, so I found these people walking, and I was just super, like, uptight, like, I can't walk because I got these times I have to
Yeah,
hit every
sure,
single time,
sure.
but I started chatting with a woman who was in front of me, and turns out she's a multi-time Hard Rock, 100 female winner,
Oh,
and
wow.
she was hiking fast, and I'm like, "You know, if she's hiking fast,
Yeah,
then this is
you're
probably
in
the
good
thing to
company.
do," and
Yeah, okay.
so, kept doing that, and we would just go back and forth the whole race, and,
Dang.
um, I'd hit every aid station, so that's on my time, I was like every single time, I was, like, within a minute of what I wanted to be.
Okay.
And my parents were waiting at some of the aid stations, and, my son Ben was waiting at the aid stations,
Yep.
and so I'd have these emotional highs, you know, when you get there,
See him,
and,
yeah, totally.
so they helped me through these, and, I had a pacer that I'd never met before. Um, she lived in Ashland. I met her on Facebook, the Pine to Palm Facebook group,
Okay.
talked on the phone maybe once before, and I didn't even know if I'd recognize her when I got to where she could meet
Really?
me because it was dark, and I just went in going, "Hey, Des, are you here? This is Tom," and she's like, "Right on, let's roll," and
So they just had these pacers that were just volunteering their time, like, to
yeah,
for any
people would just throw their name in and say, if someone needs a pacer,
That's cool.
put them in
I
contact
want
with
that
me.
job. That
Yeah.
sounds fun,
So
like
I called her and she goes, "I don't know if I can do this with you." And I'm like, "You can. I looked you up.
Yeah,
You've done Western States. You've done some stuff." And so we ran together from mile 65 to the end.
right.
And,
So when I think about strategy, that's my original question is, like, because I was gonna do Pine to Palm when I since have bailed out, but, like,
mhm.
one thing when I was looking at all of it was, like, where would I be at mile 50, and where would I be at mile 65 when pacers join in? And, were you thinking that? Like, where will I be when I meet with her, and will it be the middle of the night?
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah.
How will I feel, and how will she and what's my plan for her to pace me? Like, what do I have a certain time that I'm still
Yeah.
going for when I'm running at that point? Like,
Yeah. We'd
things
had
start
the
to slow down.
conversation and I told
Okay.
her I wanted to finish under 24 hours.
Okay.
And, I break the race, still do, just like aid station to aid station.
Mhm.
And so okay, I got 7 miles. I need to be there in an hour and 20
Yeah.
minutes or
Right, right,
whatever.
right.
Keep moving. And so when I got to her, I was pretty tired, but I was still feeling pretty good and motivated, moving pretty well.
Mhm.
And every time I got to an aid station, I would be like, I'm still on sub 24 pace. Okay, so I got to keep going. Like I can't let off.
So there was no time spent in the aid station more than, like, a
Three,
few minutes.
4 minutes. I
Yeah,
tried to
in and
just
out.
keep it. Yeah.
Okay.
And so,
When you're coming out, let me ask you this
yeah,
question, because this is something I went through, when my coach Austin was pacing me on the last 100K. Is like, before, when we were like a mile out from the aid station, let's say, we were starting to talk plans. We're like, what do we need in this aid station? Let's jump into it and get it, because you don't have time. I
yeah,
was getting swept off the course, so I,
yeah.
I had like a couple minutes to be there. So he's like, what are we going to make the most out of our time? Did you come into these aid stations going, all right, I'm only going to be here for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever it is, and this is exactly what I want to do. I want to eat this. I want to change out shoes or whatever. I
Mhm.
want to get a drink of this, fill up my water, and maybe I got to take a crap or do something, and I'm out.
Yeah,
Like, was that kind of the strategy when you had your pacer? Like, you guys talking about, like, hey, we're getting to this aid station. Let's
yeah,
lock it in and get the hell out.
yeah. Before I had my pacer, um, my crew would have a blanket set out with just stuff on it,
Mhm.
stuff I had pre-planned, and
Gotcha.
I just looked at it, grabbed what I wanted to,
Mm.
changed water bottles, and took off, changed socks or whatever if I was getting blisters or
Yeah.
something, and then just went. And then at night when I was with my pacer, I'd been like a vegan for 5 years or something
Okay.
like that,
All right.
and because it was part of my wife's recovery. We were trying to,
Okay. Yeah.
she wasn't taking some of the medications they had advised because of side effects and things. So we adopted a vegan lifestyle.
Nice.
And so we get to this pace, it's middle of the night, and she goes, you need to eat something like a grilled cheese sandwich. And I'm like, yeah, I haven't had cheese in like
Wow.
5 years.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, and I go, screw it. Let's just do it.
Were you worried about it messing up your stomach?
I didn't even think about it at the time.
Yeah.
She's like, you need something hot and you need something that's going to make you feel good. So I drank broth, probably chicken broth, and a grilled cheese sandwich, and just went for it. And
wow. Okay.
no serious repercussions or anything. And
That's good.
like sometimes you just have to make those decisions in the moment. Your things that have not worked for you in the past may work, and things that have may not. And I was very fortunate. I still felt really good. Like that whole race was pretty even for me. I had a few down spots. I got angry with her, or frustrated, I would say, once, because I told her she was half wheeling me. She would be a half a step in front of me. Like I just want to walk, and you're half stepping me. I'm sick of this. I'm walking. And she goes, okay.
Yeah.
And then she looks at her watch and goes, just so you know, you could still finish under 24 hours if you started moving right now.
That's cool.
And I'm like, all right, let's do it. And we just took off running.
Yeah, that's what you need out of a pacer sometimes. I'm just, with my experience a couple weeks ago with Austin, it was fabulous. It was awesome the whole way. Without him, I don't think I would have finished. And one game we sort of played that worked well was he'd be like, all right, we're going to run for like 2 minutes. And he would count me down, 3, 2, 1. And we'd run.
Yep.
And then he goes, or maybe even a minute. And then he'd be like, he'd count me back down. Okay, we're going to be done in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we earned our walk.
Yeah.
And we'd walk. And I'd be like, oh. And then we'd run. And then we'd walk. And we did this for miles, just to get the miles in, because I was hurting. I was just having a tough time. And just little things like that the Pacers can do. And then he always had an alarm on his watch every 30 minutes reminding him to eat, and like that would go off. And then sometimes it would just be no talking.
Yeah.
It's like he would see me get a burst of energy and I'd take off. And at first he would say something about it like, that's really good. But I'd be like, let's just like keep it. Let's just see if it happens again.
Yeah.
When it started happening again, he would just be quiet, and then he'd wait until I slowed down and walked again. He'd be like, dude, that was really epic. Let's try to do that again, and try. And he just kept pushing in those ways. I mean, people don't realize that when you get in these big races, because some people do themselves unsupported or no support and all this stuff. But like, man, Pacers really make a world of difference to crush out those hard, tough miles when you're in the middle of a big race like that. You know?
And you're really vulnerable at that point, and you have
vulnerable.
to be able to trust them implicitly. Like, I'd never met her before, and I trusted her. Like, coming down the hill, I could see she could run fast. Downhill. And she knew the trail, and I could just get out there in front of me, and I'm just trying to keep up with you going down this hill, and it worked out. And like you're saying, to your point of, I just needed to, when I felt good, I just wanted to keep going and not say anything. And
just ride it.
Because you go through these ups and downs in an ultra marathon, and you just have to embrace every single one. And, you spend a lot of time thinking, and a lot of time within yourself. Even with a pacer, there's a lot of time just within yourself that you're troubleshooting, or mind wanders off, and pacer can bring you back. But I've done hundreds without pacers, and it's hard. I've had crew at the one that my son crewed me for my second Pine de Palm that I did, but I had no pacer. I pretty much ran the whole race by myself. There wasn't anyone around for most of the race.
Wow.
And your mind goes to some pretty weird places when you're out there by yourself at 3 o'clock in the morning. And
weird's a good way to put it. For me, it was like a lot of fear. And I'm learning to like unpack that and just work with how I can get better with that for the next effort, Because now I could sit back on the other side of that fear and realize that it was temporary and be like, okay, well, next time let's not let let's not let that get the best of us, and so I've just been really working on it's like a mindset exercise that I probably didn't do in my training that now I've implemented in my training. I was just doing
Yeah.
mindset exercises are super important with these big races
Yeah.
because you're out in the middle of some places you've never been before usually, or not very often, and you don't know like you can have so many plans, and you wrote them on a cue card. I say just like planet B, C, D, E, and F, and then you have to everything goes to shit, and then you got to really start improvising what's going to work. And if you can lean on your training and not just your training physically, but like your mind training and all these other things, then they're going to help you along the way to be
Yeah.
stronger to get through these lows.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of lows.
There's a lot of lows, and you have to be really comfortable with yourself. I'm an only child, so I grew up being by myself a lot, and I'm very comfortable being by myself. So like ultramarathon is the perfect fit.
Nice.
You're out there you're relying on yourself, and playing mind games to just keep it going. And little mantras or whatever you might have, but yeah, it's a lot of problem solving, troubleshooting. It's it's a really great sport because you are by yourself, and you're suffering by yourself, but there are people around you that if you reached out to them and they will help you.
Sure.
You're not by yourself in that sense. You go to an aid station, or your crew, the volunteers,
Hmm.
they're in it for you. I mean, I've never had a bad experience at an ultramarathon, just
Nice.
with the competitors or crew members or volunteers. Everybody's this really there
Yeah.
to help you through this.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the support's huge. And it's a big thing. Hey, y'all. Pete Ciotti, Grit Podcast, chiming in here. Check out the 5 a.m. Run Club, hosted by yours truly, every Thursday, 5 a.m. Yes, you have to wake up early, set your alarms, maybe bring a headlamp. But every Thursday, 5 a.m., we meet at the jogging shop and we run 5 to 7 miles, either in the forest, the marsh, or sometimes we'll take the golf course loop. Check us out on Instagram at 5 a.m. Run Club Arcata. So you finish Pine to Palm, probably in the morning sometime, I'm guessing?
Yeah, 4:30 in the morning.
4:30 in the morning.
Yep, yep.
Well, you didn't see the sunrise
I
then.
didn't see the
Yeah.
sunrise, no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow. And that is the qualifier that you needed to get into Western States.
Well, that was one of them, right?
One of
So
them.
that was
You needed more than one.
Well, that was for that year, it was the qualifier, so
Damn, that doesn't
I got
last more than a
another
year.
ticket. So,
Wow.
like, to fast forward, it took me 7 years to get into Western States.
So the Pine to Palm effort that you got the ticket for didn't get you in.
No.
Damn.
So
All
I
that work.
I qualified for the lottery. I don't even remember what year that was, maybe 14 or 15,
Mhm.
and didn't get in. So I signed up for a race and I don't remember if this is the year right after, but this is like a synopsis of how you get in. And it was a 100-miler down in Zion. My parents live in Arizona, so I flew down there. They came up to
Sweet.
crew me. Right before that race, I tripped over a chain fence at school and jacked my back up a little bit. So I was having a hard time when I got down there.
Yeah.
And the weather was horrible. There were thunderstorms. And if you've ever been to Zion, when it gets wet down there,
I've
the
literally been there in a
mud,
flash flood once with my
yeah,
family. Insane, dude.
it's crazy and scary.
Yeah.
And the mud gets on your feet like
Yeah.
3 inches thick. And
Yeah.
I got 80 miles into this thing and was seeing stuff, and just I quit at 80 miles.
No way.
I got to a part where there were just these clover leaves that you had to do. And I was like, this is just BS. I don't think I want to keep my parent. I felt bad for my folks. I felt bad for myself. I didn't want to keep going out and coming
Yeah.
back to the same spot over and over.
Yeah.
So I pulled the plug. Plus my legs were swelling up. I had like edema in my shins, and I
Yikes.
didn't want to do any permanent damage to myself. And
Yeah.
so I quit, and it turns out that they shortened the race anyway because of the weather. And at that point, I kind of quit the sport. Like I quit for a month. I was like, I'm never doing this again. This is stupid.
Yeah.
And I can't get into Western States. You get kind of feeling sorry for
Yeah.
yourself.
Totally.
And then, but I go, I've got how many tickets? Like,
Mhm.
24 tickets
Wow.
I had years worth of tickets banked. And if you miss a year in the lottery, you go back to zero. So I didn't really do much from when was this race? In May, I think, April, May. And then in June, I didn't tell anybody, but I'm like in my mind, I'm going, Pine de Palm is coming up in September. That's a qualifier. I've been there and I just started running again. And I kept, ultra sign up.
Yeah.
The fees go up after certain times.
Yeah, right,
and I'm
right.
looking at the deadlines. In July, I was running decent again. I'm like, I'm going to do this. And I didn't tell anybody.
Huh.
And I kept running. And then in August is right before one of the fees go up again.
Yeah.
And I registered.
Huh.
And I told my wife, like, I just registered for Pine de Palm again. And I'm going to go up there. I just couldn't give up my tickets in the lottery.
Yeah.
And so I registered, and then my son like calls me a couple days before. He goes, I hear you're going to Pine de Palm. And I go, yep. He goes, I'll go with you if you want me to go with you. And I'm like, that'd be great. And so we made the trek up there, and I finished. They changed the course a little
Did he
bit.
pace you?
He crewed me.
Crewed you. Did you have a pacer?
Didn't no pacer. That was when I had no pacer. And they changed the course a little bit from the first time.
Yeah.
It was a little more challenging. I finished in 25 something. I didn't finish under 24. That was my goal, but I still.
So you saw the sun come up for this one?
I saw the sun come up for this one, and got my ticket again. Fall came for the lottery, and no love from Western States. I still didn't get chosen. And then I think I just started doing one race a year after that, and it was the Canyons 100K, which was on the Western States course, and that was a qualifier. So I did that 2 more times, got up to 64 tickets in the lottery. They live streamed the lottery in November or December, I think it was, and I went out for a run. And I'm like, I'm not watching this. At that time, 7 years, your odds were pretty damn good that you were going to get in, but not 100% guaranteed. There were like 7 of us with 7 years worth of tickets.
Wow.
I was the upperclassman of the lottery class that year, and I went out for a run, and I just got this, like, it was just a short run, and it was my 7th time in the lottery, and my mother-in-law, who's passed away, and she had passed away a couple years before that, but 7 was her deal. She always looked at numbers. Oh, that adds up to 7. That's lucky. That's 7.
Nice. Yeah.
My 7th year, and there were a couple other 7s, and then I as strange as it may sound, but I believe that people that have passed on they're still around us, and
yeah, for sure.
I heard her voice. This is number 7.
Yeah.
This is lucky.
Yep.
I got back to the house. I look at my phone, and I had these text messages. Tom, congratulations. You made it. You made it.
No
and
way.
some friends had texted me, and I was like,
way.
oh my God. And I got the email, you're in Western States. And so 7 years in the making, and 2019, I did Western States.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah. Luckily, because the next year they canceled it, because of COVID.
Oh, right. Yeah. Wow.
And so I did Western States in 2019. I had hurt myself prior to that.
Yeah.
I didn't run for 3 weeks prior to Western States. And the first time I had run in 3 weeks was that morning the race started, and taped up and
just went
ready to roll, and took off. And my family was there. My buddy from the East Coast came out and paced me the last 35 miles, and we did it in 27 hours.
Damn.
And
wow.
Finished. And then
it's a hard course.
Yeah, it's a hard course. And I was very happy I finished, but at the same time, broken and down, and I didn't do anything remotely close to that for 5.5 years.
Right. That was
Yeah.
the big break.
That was the big break.
That
Yeah.
one really broke you off.
Yeah,
Like,
I
took
stopped
everything.
running completely.
Wow. So it took like everything to get there. Lottery, 7 years,
Yeah.
2 Pine to Palm efforts that were massive.
Yeah.
All that stuff. And then you get there and you finish it. And then it's like, oh man, maybe it's time to go into retirement. Possibly.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, COVID happened.
Yeah.
Lots
And
of
COVID,
stuff and just, downtimes. And I just didn't run. I didn't run for a whole year. And then
At all.
At all. And then I started jogging around a little bit and
Yeah.
doing things here and there, nothing serious. And then my neighbor across the street, he's a guy, he's a logger, crabber guy, and we talked back and forth. And
Yeah.
he's, I got a young friend, man. He's doing these ultra marathons, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh yeah, what's his name? He goes, his name's Thomas Nolan, and
That guy.
I'm like, oh, yeah, he sounds pretty cool. So I get on Ultra Sign Up, Thomas Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like, when some people talk about sports that they're not familiar with, they don't really know what they're talking about. And so I wasn't trusting that, my neighbor had all the facts straight. Like this guy was doing 100 milers.
Yeah.
Because, people think a 10 miler is a marathon.
Right.
They say, I'm going to do a marathon this weekend, but it's only 10 miles or whatever. I'm kind of black and white that way, a stickler for the details.
Sure.
And so I look up and I'm like, this guy's the real deal. He's done 100 milers and stuff. And I didn't know who he was. And one day I'm walking around Trinidad Head and this young guy goes scampering by me with a vest on. And I just went, hey, are you Thomas Nolan? And
No way.
He goes, yeah. He goes, hey, are you Tom Davies? And I said, yeah. And he goes, oh, Danny told me about you. And
No way.
we started chatting it up. And then I didn't see him for a long time. Then I'd see him looking at the surf off, on the beach once in a while. And then I saw the pictures for Raccoon Run Club posted somewhere, and
Right.
all these young guys are out there running.
Yeah.
And I got a hold of him. Do you let like older people in this group?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He's all, come on out. And that's probably when we met. That was like a year ago.
Yeah.
Like in August of 2024. And
Yep. Exactly.
And
the club was probably about I don't know.
5 or 6 months, I think, had been happening.
Like yeah, right. Because as far as I know, I think it started in January or something like that. But I was in the same boat as you too. Because like when I was just a brand new runner all together, and I was telling my wife, I'm like, I'm gonna go. I asked if I could come join these kids. I call them kids, like college kids.
They're half my age.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, I wonder if I can come join them. And Thomas, of course, was like, yeah, you definitely can come, man. Come on. And I was like, all right. And he's like, bring a Hawaiian shirt. I couldn't find a Hawaiian shirt, so I dusted off. I did. I found one, dusted it off, and I came. I've seen the photo too. It's funny. I showed up. It was Beef Loop.
Oh, wow. Your first
so
one.
we met at Murphy's that time, not the jogging shop like normal. And I remember cruising up, and my wife dropped me off, and I had just had dinner. I just ate a huge pasta dinner. I don't know. For some reason, I thought, carbs, I'm good to go. Let's go.
Yeah.
And I roll up, and she's like, wait, this is where you're meeting all these people. Why do they all have Hawaiian shirts? I'm like, that's the theme. And she's like, that always the theme? I'm like, yeah. She's like, these guys are like half your age or whatever. They're super young. I don't know how you're going to hold up, man. You're going to go run up, Sunny Brae Forest. I'm like, I guess so. And I kind of felt out of place at first, but then, you start running, you chat with them, you're like, oh, these people are so cool. And
everybody's welcome.
I suffered through that run for sure.
Yeah.
I hadn't done anything like that yet. And, but, you get back and you're like, then you do a little stretching with Westy brought out the Bluetooth speaker and he's playing some music and he's doing these stretches in the middle of the parking lot at Murphy's.
Yeah.
And it's like so fun. I was like, these guys are awesome. Everyone here is cool. I made all my new friends right then and there. Like over the next couple months of running, I had a whole new group of friends. It was pretty awesome. But yeah, I remember you coming out, and we immediately were talking about, like we are now, we're just talking about, I did Western States and all that stuff. I was like, wow, who is this legendary guy that's like out here? And then I remember, I also was going to say, I remember the first time you and I just ran together after, a Raccoon Run Club. And we were just like going on a casual run. I think it was the marsh or something. And I was like, man, this guy's pace is just, we were running a conversational pace because we were talking all the time, but I was like, man, he is booking. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I was like, man, he's got some speed. But Hey y'all, Pete Ciotti, the Grit Podcast. Just chiming in here real quick. Make sure you check out the Raccoon Run Club on Monday nights, 6:30 p.m. They meet at the Jogging Shop every Monday. Sometimes they run in the Arcata Forest. Sometimes they take a run out to the marsh. And other times they'll meet at Murphy's Market and take the Beath Loop route. But check them out. They're on Instagram, Raccoon Run Club. Every Monday, 6:30 p.m. Jogging Shop. Yeah, man, it's great, and since then, of course, let's dive into that. You get back to Raccoon Run. You start coming out to Raccoon Run Club,
Yeah.
and your first race back was that Sonoma,
The Lake Sonoma Classic.
the 100K, right?
Thomas was saying, yeah, we're going to go down and do this. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, you guys should have fun with that. I've done Lake Sonoma 50 before. It's the
Right.
same course and pretty much. And he goes, I could get you a discount if you wanted to do it. I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, discount, because
Yeah.
these things aren't cheap anymore.
Yeah, totally.
And he sucked me in with the discount code, and I signed up and went down. My son Ben again went down with me, and he met me at some crew stops. And this time I was not going to be uptight. I didn't take a cue card. I didn't take any of my
No.
own drink mix. I'm like,
Right.
I'm just going to float through the aid
remember you
stations,
saying
use
that.
what they have, and
Yeah.
took off. And mile 22 or something, it was getting pretty hot out there. Their snacks didn't agree with me, and I started throwing up and
Yeah.
threw up.
It was hot for October. It was like in the high 80s, 90s.
Yep.
Obviously, the elevation at Lake Sonoma is insane.
Yep.
And
And I hadn't trained up to it like I probably should have. And a couple people, are you okay, sir? And I'm like, I'm fine. And here's a ginger chew. And so I just started, aid station to aid station, the classic strategy. You don't want to think I got 30 miles to go.
Yeah.
Jesus, this is going to be impossible. But
yeah,
I'm like, all right, get to the next aid station. And Ben was there, and he's getting me Cokes and, ice in my bandana. And
yeah,
Thomas is running around, and
Yeah.
I take off with my Coke and slam a Coke and suck on an orange slice was all I could keep down. And
really.
I got to mile 40. I'd been running with a guy, and he's like, I'm going to quit. And I go, come on, man. I go, you didn't come out here to quit. I go,
Yeah.
hey, you got 20 miles to go. Go to the next aid station.
Yeah,
See how you feel. And he's like, do you think your son could give me a ride to the finish when I quit? And I go, I'm sure he would. I go, but I don't think he's going to be at the aid station. I go, because I told him to go to the finish line because
Yeah.
I don't want any temptation of
yeah,
dropping off there.
right,
And it was a long drive to that station.
right.
And so I just motivated that guy, and he goes, I'm going to go. And so he left, and he took off running down the trail.
No way.
And I'm like, oh God, all right. So I get up, and I'm just
Yeah,
pretty wrecked, and
yeah.
run the flats, walk the uphills,
Wow.
caught the guy right before the end, right before that aid station, and then never saw him again. He did drop out. But I sat down, had my broth, and I almost walked the last 20 miles, and it was getting dark.
It was really dark.
It
We
was
were
getting
waiting
really
for it.
dark.
For
And,
those who don't know, we were out. Damien and I were running our first ultra ever, the 50K. So we were done. We were last at the 50K, 55K, whatever. But like 9 hours it took us. It took our time. But we were just waiting at the whole time, watching the 100Kers and come in. The whole night, and we were just waiting for you to come in. And Ben would come down and try to find updates, and we would look like, he's got to be right around the corner. He's got to be right. And it's getting later. Olivia comes in and she finishes, and a couple other friends finish, and we're just We're like, we're first up plan was like, let's just watch some 100K finishers. Then it was like, oh, we got to watch all our friends finish, all the Raccooners finish. Olivia finishes, and we're like, we're gonna stick it out till Tom gets here. And I think, what time did you come in? You came in pretty
I
late.
came in at almost 1:45.
Yeah, it was pretty late.
So I was rushed, walking, and there were still a few people out there, but I'm like, this is not a position I was accustomed to being in, like
No,
the
yeah.
very last person out there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think I'm going to be DFL,
Yeah,
which is like
it's a good thing to be.
dead final finisher or dead fucking last.
Yeah,
And,
right,
I'm
yeah.
like, I don't want to be DFL. I'm like, so I was with two other people, a young woman and this older guy who was about my age. And we're just hoofing it. We're walking as fast as we can. And they leave me. And I'm
Mhm,
like, oh my God, I'm
mm,
I'm sure I'm last.
yeah,
But I'm gonna finish this damn thing. And
yeah.
I kept going, and the young woman who was in front of me, pretty soon I pass her. This is within the last mile. She's thrown up on the side of the trail.
Wow,
She's with her husband who she had just caught. And Ben's waiting for me out at this intersection.
yeah,
And in my mind, I'm like, I'm running, but I'm walking,
yeah.
but I'm like, do I look like an asshole? Because I feel like I'm sprinting it because I don't want those people to catch me because I don't want to be last place.
Yeah, totally.
He goes, yeah, you don't really look like you're sprinting too
Yeah,
fast.
you're not going that fast.
So we finish and, you guys were there and I was like, I thought you guys were going home.
No,
And
we were hanging. It was cold for us, but we were
yeah,
out and we were waiting and
I remember you guys saying, we still had a raccoon out on the course.
yeah,
We
we
couldn't
can't
leave you
go.
out
Yeah, we
there.
can't be hanging.
It just really touched my heart because
Yeah, man, that was awesome. You're like whole. I'm trying to remember the visual of it. I remember like so you came in. I remember maybe it was even the lady you're talking about because I remember seeing these two little kids in their pajamas and their dad, and they were waiting for mom to come in, and it was really late, and they were just kept looking, and then I remember Ben always doing this. He was your son, but he's
yeah.
older, and he's looking, and he's waiting. Everyone's just like anticipating when you guys were all going to finish, and then she finishes, and the kids run up to her and hug her, and she's totally just broken off, and then we're like, "Where's Tom? Where's Tom?" And I remember when you came in, your eyes were like blood. You were like wet, wide-eyed, and just like, "Wow, that was an effort." And like, I think you remember. I remember you saying something like, "I think I saw some beady eyes in on the
Yeah,
trail."
heard a mountain lion
Heard a mountain
scream.
lion. We were like, "Oh man."
Yeah,
That was the fear I was going through. It was my first ever ultra experience, and being on that side of it, just being like, "Man, I hope he's doing all right. He's out there alone in the dark. Like there's probably nobody on the trail.
yeah,
The aid
I
stations
was
are
getting,
finishing up."
piece of people are passing me, and
Yeah.
there was a group that I kinda tried to run with, but they were hell-bent to get in under 17 hours because that's the Western States
Yeah,
qualifying
qualifier,
time,
right?
and I was like, I've been there, done that. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
I just wanna finish
yeah.
this
Just
thing
finish. Yeah,
at this point, and
yeah,
yeah, and that got me hooked again, and then I
yeah,
signed up for SOB,
yeah,
the Siskiyou Out and Back, a couple
yeah.
weeks
So
ago.
awesome. Your effort there. I mean, no, obviously it was your first time back in years
Yeah.
doing Lake Sonoma, and Lake Sonoma was so hard.
Oh,
SOB
yeah.
probably equally as hard. I think they're
Yeah.
pretty comparable. And then I watched your effort at SOB, and it was like, wow, you like crushed that one.
I went in with the cue card. I went in with all my drink mix,
Yeah,
pre-measured, carrying everything I needed.
yeah,
I had that race much more dialed in.
yeah. Boy.
I was ready. My
Well,
mind was
yeah, your
better.
training leading up to that was impressive. Like
Yeah.
I remember just watching it, following along on Strava or whatever, and you were doing like multiple. You always would text us and be like, "I'm gonna do some pre-workout miles before Raccoon Run Club," and you go do like 10 miles before the run club, and
Uh-huh.
then you'd just be out in Trinidad. I see your Strava in Trinidad, just going back and forth, doing stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, you put in a lot of miles leading up to that one, and the effort was just amazing. That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was
And once
incredible.
again, like, Thomas and Damien
Yeah,
and Elliot, and
yeah,
they didn't even run. They came up and
yeah. So
we're
cool.
at the finish line, and
Yep.
Damien's bringing me cheeseburgers and tacos.
Nice.
As I went up that one, nobody could make it, so I went up by myself and
Yeah,
camped out, and Dylan was there. It was fun. It was a little
yeah.
community that we
Love
had,
it.
and
Yeah, man. They're always around, just being
yeah,
supportive, and it definitely makes a difference, and it's so awesome. And like, I mean, uh yeah, I was always wishing that the Lake Sonoma 100 miler would have gone. I mean, maybe I wasn't, but like I was hoping that one would gone the distance. I had you and Elliot as my pacers, and
yeah,
I was just like really excited about. I remember coming at the end of that, hitting that aid station where Skip came up and said the race is being called, and I was right before that. It was one of those things where you're a mile away from the aid station. You're planning out your how you're going to approach the aid station, but that was the halfway point. So I was like, I was running the whole thing with Damien, and I was just like, dude, I think I'm done. But if I do continue, at least I got to look forward to catching up with Tom and Elliot and Kobe, and we're just gonna kind of like, cruise into the night. And that was a whole new thing for me. I was like, well, at least they'll be there to
Yeah,
talk me
yeah,
through this night running into the morning, because this thing's gonna go on. I mean, and Damien was saying the same thing. He's like, dude, we're gonna be running for like 30 plus hours at this
yeah,
point.
yeah,
Like, there's no way we're gonna finish this anywhere near 24. So expect us to be done at like noon tomorrow. And I was
yeah,
like, man, I don't know. I am really freaking broken off.
yeah.
But that would have been, I think, if I would have met you guys, I would have hopefully got a little bit of a second wind. I don't know how long that would have lasted.
Yeah,
But
you do for a while,
yeah.
it's like this the whole time,
But your pacing duties turned into driving my sorry butt home because I couldn't drive.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, oh God, that thing just totally crushed me. That was my first 50 miler, so I felt pretty good about
Yeah,
that.
and that's not an easy 50 miler
No,
to do.
it was hard. It
Yeah.
was hard. And you'd run the Lake Sonoma 50 before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah, so that's
It's just relentless. They call it relentless for a reason.
it is.
Yeah.
Lake Sonoma is really hard. I mean, there's a lot of like encouragement about Lake Sonoma, and there's a really good vibe around it, which is awesome. But it's disguised because it's really a hard race. It's definitely
yeah.
not. I wouldn't recommend it as a first-time ultra for many people, although it seems to suggest that
Seems
it's
entry
a good
level,
one.
It's not in the mountains or
Yeah,
anything like
yeah,
that.
but
But there's
it's
not one
hard.
stretch of flat land in that entire
Mm-mm.
you're either going up or down the
Yep.
whole time.
Yeah, up
And
and down,
downs
up
are
and
just
down.
as hard as the ups.
Yeah. Yeah, for us, it was like, as I ran the whole thing with Damon, both the 55K and the 100 miler, and I suck going down. I'm broken off going down after like 30 some miles, but he crushes down. He'll like get way ahead, but then he has a hard time going up. And he's
Yeah.
like getting sick going up. And it was just like, that was the duality that existed, plus all the other stuff. And we've said it before, like Lake Sonoma was Sufferfest. It lived up to its name, and the weather was just total shit.
That was epic.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, y'all. Pete Ciotti, Grit Podcast, chiming in here. Be sure to check out Run with Christ every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. We meet at Catalyst Church in Arcata, right across from the co-op. It's a fun run, usually in the marsh. There's also a walking club as well that walks a couple miles. It's a great way to get out and meet your community. Don't forget, every Tuesday night at Catalyst Church, 6:30 p.m., Run with Christ. Also check us out on Instagram at Run with Christ Humboldt. Are you planning on going up for the California Classic this year?
No, I don't
No?
think so. And my next thing is going to be the NorCal backyard.
Nice, you're doing that. I know a
Yep.
lot of people are doing that.
Yep, I've never done a backyard.
November 8th, 7th?
7th.
7th, yeah,
Yep.
okay.
7th, 8th, 9th.
Yeah, and you've never done a backyard.
Never done a backyard.
So let's unpack what a backyard is for people checking this out. Like, what is a backyard?
So you have a 4.2 mile loop, and you get 1 hour to complete it. And so you'll generally complete it with 10 minutes to go, 5 minutes to go before the hour. And then everybody starts again on the hour. And you keep going until you either decide you want to quit, or you timed out, you can't run it in an hour, or you can't get off your chair and start in the hour, because you can't miss the start. You can't like go, I'll be there in a minute after.
Yeah, right.
You have to start when they blow the whistle for the start.
Yeah.
And it's over when there's 2 people left and one person can't make it anymore. And then the last person standing has to do one more lap by themselves
To be
the end. So,
to be the finisher.
the championship races, these guys are going, they call them yards. They're going 100 yards, which is over 400 miles. I'll be nowhere near that. There's no worry about that.
And there's a 24-hour time, or no?
No, it's until no time. So my goal is to do 100 miles. So 24 hours. And then I'd like to keep going, but we'll see.
See what you can do.
We'll see how it works out.
Right.
Yeah. Thomas will be down there for that one.
Yep.
So that'll be fun. We can support each other and just
I thought real hard about doing it. It just the time didn't work out for me because I'm going to well, it's gonna be awesome. I'm going to Japan with my
Oh,
son,
fun.
and we're leaving at that date. So, but that is gonna be a fun race for those of you that are interested in an ultra like that. Yeah, you can go on Ultra Sign Up and check it out in NorCal Backyard, November 7th. That's gonna be a good one. So that's where the training is leading you to in
That's the
November.
next thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
I'm a little anxious about it, because
really,
it's in a regular ultra, you just keep moving.
yeah.
You hit your aid stations and stuff, but
You can't just like get done with a lap and just keep going.
no,
You have to
you
time
have to
out.
stop. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then you can't start again.
That's hard, the stopping when you don't wanna stop. It's good
Exactly.
when you want to, but, like, when
Yeah.
you don't want to, especially in the beginning,
Yeah,
'cause you just
yeah,
do 4 miles and, "Oh, you're stopping?" And it's, like,
yeah,
too
yeah.
soon to stop.
So it's just this rhythm. It's a different rhythm. You
Yeah.
just have to get
Do
used
you
to the
train
rhythm.
for that a certain way?
I haven't done that yet,
Yeah, you
but
think you will?
I mapped out a 4.2-mile course, and so I might set aside 7 or 8 hours one day
Nice.
and just try the format
Yeah.
and see what it feels
Cool.
like.
Man, that's
We'll
gonna be
see.
fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else, coming up that you wanna talk about or anything? Just that you're looking forward to?
Um,
Or that's kinda the end of your year?
that'll be the end of my running year probably, yeah,
Yeah.
and we'll see what happens next year. I really enjoy running with you
Mhm.
guys. The
Yeah.
whole raccoon thing has
Yeah.
just gotten me back excited about the sport again, and
Yeah.
I spend the majority I run by myself, 95% of the
Yeah,
time
yeah.
probably.
Right.
So it's always fun, and it's fun to meet up on the weekends, and
Yeah.
it's just if anybody wants to run, the raccoon thing is a great entryway,
Sure.
it's a gateway for lots. You don't have to be an ultra marathoner. Like we have in our group,
Mhm.
there's an ultra marathon, niche,
Mhm.
but not everybody, 5 miles is the long run for a lot of people,
Oh,
which
yeah,
is great.
totally. Yeah.
And, I'm happy to be running again and finding people that, are like-minded, and it's changed my mindset towards the sport a lot,
Yeah.
like just be competitive with yourself and accept everybody else where they're at and support them. And everybody has different desires and skill levels. And it's been a really positive experience
That's
for
awesome.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, so any of you guys that wanna have that positive experience, you run alone or you wanna run with a group and just have that social experience. Raccoon Run Club meets every Monday at the Jog and Shop at 6:30 PM, every Monday without fail. And I know sometimes we go and we do these crazy 100-mile races on the weekends and we're broken off. We run all the way until Sunday morning and then we're broken off. People still show up on Monday. Somebody's going to be there. It's still going to happen. I mean, the club through this summer, even with students being gone,
We got
I've
30
seen
people.
30-ish people there. I mean, it's crazy. It's really cool for what it is. So great group. Sometimes new faces all the time. In fact, new faces there. So if you want to come run, bring a friend or meet a new friend. 6:30 p.m. at the Jog and Shop. Tom and I will usually be there, or one of us will usually be there. We're recording this on a Monday. I will not be there tonight. Unfortunately, I have a family obligation, but usually I'm there every Monday. But go check it out. And if you want to know more about the Raccoon Run Club, go to their Instagram page. It's at Raccoon Run Club, I believe. And you can check it out there. And they always, Thomas and the guys are always posting the stuff there. And hey, let's take a little pause right here. This is Pete Ciotti of the Grit Podcast. Just wanted to chime in real quick and say thank you to everyone who's been supporting the podcast this last year. I really, really appreciate your support. I appreciate you sharing, liking, subscribing to the podcast, and also really appreciate your feedback. Anything you got to say about the podcast, the guests that we should have on, stuff like that. If you like the content, please let your friends know. It's completely organic, just trying to make it happen. Your support means the world to me, and I just really appreciate everybody tuning in and listening. So thank you again. Yeah, man. Well, thanks for coming through.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Thanks
making the
for inviting
time.
me. It's fun.
That's a
Yeah.
crazy running career there that you've had, and all the ups and downs. Literally, been amazing. and I'm glad you finally got to get into Western states. That's,
Yeah, that
you know,
was like been there, done that, and
yeah,
now I'm on to other things like
yeah,
backyards and
right, and
stuff like
the new
that.
experiences. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
awesome. All right, Tom, I really appreciate you coming on. It's Tom Davies. Thanks y'all for checking out the Grit podcast, and be sure to go on Spotify or Apple or YouTube and like the latest episodes and subscribe. And I really appreciate all the support out there. And shoot me a message on either Instagram or wherever on social media. I'm looking for more guests, so if you're a runner and you want to get on here and talk, or we can do it via Zoom, I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, just go out and run your race. All right, y'all. Peace.